The man picked up the shotgun, aimed at the sled dog. They completed their mission in order to survive. No other choice. At the beginning of the 19th century, the United States claims that Greenland has been cut in half by the strait to occupy the northeast part of the island for oneself. This statement did not receive recognition from the Danish government because they need to conduct a field survey of Greenland. So the Danish government sent a sled exploration team to the Arctic to search for evidence that Larne Island is a complete island. But after this team left, there was no news of it. In order to continue searching for evidence, the Danish government sent another expedition team leader and deputy in 1909, searching through the ice and snow. A few months later, fortunately, we found the body of our senior, and the senior only held a notebook and a map in his hand. They immediately returned to the base with their belongings. The toes of the second hand have been frostbitten, must undergo amputation. The notebook records evidence that Greenland is a complete island. They put the evidence in a stone marker, and marked the position of the stone marker on the map. In order to retrieve the evidence that our predecessors found with their lives, the captain needs someone to go with him, but everyone looked at each other. No one dares to sign up, because the experience of the deputy has already caused fear among everyone. The next morning, John, who was on his first expedition, found the captain, saying I'm willing to go with him, although John lacks exploration experience and expertise, but the captain doesn't have anyone else to choose from, can only reluctantly agree. After everything is ready, they embarked on an unknown journey, John's first polar expedition. Very excited, but he didn't know it was definitely a difficult challenge. Not long after departure, the two of them encountered the first difficulty. They want to climb over the snowy mountains in front of them. With the strong cooperation of sled dog, they successfully climbed up. Looking at the vast and magnificent glacier snowman in front of me, John was extremely excited in his heart. After a night's rest, the captain sprayed melted ice water onto the sled. This way, a thin layer of ice can form on the sled. Not only can it increase travel speed, it can also help dogs save energy. The two continue to gallop on the endless snowfield, but danger has also quietly arrived. Due to excessive speed, plus John lacks experience, causing him to fall off the sled. Fortunately, there was an ice rock sled below that didn't fall off, but the head dog was hung on the cliff. John carefully tried to pull the head dog up, but the sharp ice wall still cut the rope. This mistake not only caused them to lose one of their leading dogs, 2 weeks of dog food and nearly half of tea. Apologized to John. The captain did not blame him. Until now, they can only accelerate their pace, find the location of the stone marker, but after 2 months there was still nothing to be found. Here, their food is also in short supply. John had to hunt sled dog, replenish other dogs with energy. 84 days later, the captain has replanned the direction, but John believes that they should be returning now. They've run out of supplies. The sled dog is half dead, but the captain is unwilling to accept defeat, and he said he would definitely take him back to the base in August. So the two of them abandoned the sled, continue to search for Shubiao. Finally, keep the shop and thy shop will keep thee. They successfully found Captain Shubiao, who was piled up by their predecessors. Find the evidence left by the senior. After on-site investigation, the seniors found that the Pius Strait does not exist. That is to say, Greenland is an inseparable island. See here, the captain felt relieved of the heavy burden. Look at these transcripts of the current election. You need to take 104. Let's celebrate briefly, and we'll start our return journey. 132 days later, they were struggling with the only 3 sled dog left. During midway breaks, hungry John carried a hunting gun to search for food. I didn't expect him to actually see a seal when he raised his gun and aimed it, but the dogs kept barking uncontrollably, scared away the poster. Then came another gunshot. John realized that the situation was not right, immediately returned to view. The scene in front of him was terrifying. 2 dogs have fallen to the ground and cannot stand up, and the captain is also being bitten by a huge polar bear. John immediately raised his gun and fired. The massive polar bear collapsed after being hit. Unexpectedly, they fell into the sea together under the pressure of the captain. The sled is also about to be towed into the sea. Fortunately, John came forward in time to pull the sled. Finally, the captain was rescued. Fortunately, Captain, it's not a big deal, but the only sled dog they had left didn't survive. The two of them can only abandon the sled and set off light. 164 days later, the two of them came to an ice surface. To save time, they can only venture through the ice, but the captain is worried about an accident, so we built a stone puma on site, hide the evidence in a stone marker to protect it. Subsequently, they support each other, passing through the ice without any danger, with a strong belief, finally returned to the base of daydreaming, but it never occurred to them. When they arrived, the ship had already been damaged. The teammates who stayed at the base have already left. This shattered the hope that had just ignited in their hearts again. Fortunately, when my teammates leave, I help them build a wooden house with the wooden boards on the ship, and left them with enough supplies to survive for a year. They can only wait here for rescue, and hope there will be a passing whaler. It can be discovered that their time has arrived in 242 days. The captain dreamed that the stone darts he had stacked were destroyed by a polar bear. He's worried that the evidence inside is not safe, so I decided to go with John to retrieve the evidence. At departure, John suggested leaving a note to prevent rescue teams from coming and not finding them, but the captain said they will definitely come back before the ice melts. Finally, on the 439th day, the two of them arrived at Shubiao's position. Unexpectedly, Shubiao was really damaged. Fortunately, the evidence is still intact. The captain's hanging heart can finally be let go. The two of them took evidence and traveled for several days, returning to the base again on 471 days, but they never expected. There are really search and rescue personnel looking for the note left on their desk. It says searching for the captain and John is fruitless. The captain was on July the 23rd, 1911. because the captain's carelessness did not leave a note. They perfectly avoided search and rescue. The captain was also very upset about it. Even if we don't know if the rescue team will come to search for them again, but their hearts are still filled with hope. Live hard. In the blink of an eye, the 793rd day has arrived. The captain climbed up the master check. Suddenly, I found a hot air balloon flying in my direction. The captain was excited and quickly waved and shouted. Not for a moment. The hot air balloon flew to the captain. Unexpectedly, it was the wife of the captain, John, who had been thinking about it day and night, watching the captain's strange behavior. I don't know what happened. Even he saw a huge abscess on the captain's neck, but the captain didn't answer him. After, the captain's hallucinations are getting worse and worse. I fantasize about being with my wife every day. I even think John wants to ruin his marital relationship, and full of hostility towards him. Then he came out with a knife to search for John. John thought the captain was going to kill himself. It turned out that he just wanted John to help him cut off the abscess. After the abscess was cut open, the captain's condition has not improved. I even saw my wife in John's bed. He once believed that John had taken his wife away, so he picked up his shotgun, and it was about to collapse. John told him, everything is an illusion. But the captain still doesn't believe it. Fortunately, the bullet only hit the air. The captain was also completely awakened by the gunfire. To prevent the captain from making mistakes again, John hid the gun. However, just after the two of them were having dinner, the polar bear is targeting them again. The two of them were holding onto the door inside the house, and successfully scared the polar bear away using noise. But in a few days, the two were awakened by the sound outside again. They thought it was a polar bear again. John quickly picked up his shotgun, and aimed it at the door. I know what's going on. Really 3. This time it's not a polar bear, but rather search and rescue personnel. They are defending the territorial integrity of the country. Finally rescued after 865 days, they have completed an impossible task, becoming a hero of the entire country. At the commendation conference, the captain saw his wife reappear. He's not sure if this is an illusion. After receiving confirmation from John, he dares to step forward and hug his wife. The film is adapted from real events, although it's an adventure theme, but the center is not focused on wilderness survival and ice exploration, without even grand scenery and special effects. Instead, the focus is on the inner portrayal of the characters, and their sense of perseverance in carrying arduous missions. It is a very worthwhile original film for everyone to watch.